So it's not very safe to talk about insecurity in a country where you live in, about the insecurity in a country where you live. I will just give my two cents on this whole conversation. Um, for the past three regimes, for the past three regimes, nothing has changed. We usually think Nigeria got worse. That's probably correct. When you look back, everybody thinks this is the worst time we are in. But everybody thought 2015 was the worst time. Everybody thought 2013 was the worst time. So usually when you go past it, you now find out that we're in good times.
Oh, better.
Yes, and that was better. But I noticed that now they say banditry before they used to say headsmen, before they used to say Boko Haram, and this thing is just recycled. Same thing over and over. The amount of bombings that happened, I think before 2015, the volume of bombing, you know, and the volume of what's going on now is not very different. And it's almost like a plane that is nose diving. The people in the country feel like we need one leader to fix all this problem. And the problem that we have in Nigeria was created by all of us. All of us have a part to play in the current problem we're facing. And we want to sit and wait for one man from a tribe, whatever tribe, to fix a multi-tribal, um, generally created problem. And I usually give the instance of Christ. The best human being to walk the earth is supposed to be Christ. And he came to earth and lasted 3 years for when he made himself up and he killed it. So if Christ himself uh, was killed by people he came to help, the man's works, when you read the story, regardless of your religion, when you read the story of the man in his life, he was good all the way through. And he was killed by people he was helping. So I don't think giving a man the job to fix a country that big is going to be good for any man. So whoever it is that is going into political, trying to get into office to fix Nigeria, is taking on a suicide mission, trying to kill yourself, trying to kill yourself, whoever you are. What the people in the country need to do is take responsibility for themselves. The single smallest functional unit of society is family. So everybody has a small place where they have a leader they can talk to directly. That's your father, that's your mother, that's your siblings, and eldest family member. So, and then you have your people you live in your house with, your neighbors. Then if you're in an estate, you have people who live in the estate too. So if you're living in a space where you don't even know your neighbors, you don't know the people who live in your estate, that's the problem we're having. If the people in a small community, so you picture in your head as I'm talking. When I was younger, there's a game we used to play where we hold ourselves by the hand. I hold you on this side, you hold me on that side, and then we form a ring right round, and somebody's in the middle. So I think the game was about making sure the person outside does not get to the person in the middle. So we hold ourselves so tightly to protect the person in the middle. The person outside is doing their best to force themselves through. And most of the time, this ring wins because everybody's making sure they're on. So I don't know the number of people who are bandits. I don't know the number, but whatever the number is, the population of Nigeria outnumbers them in millions. Then what are the number of people who are politicians? The politicians we have, there are few of them. The bandits are few of them, but the people are in law. So, and we also already know always the power belongs to. But the people who have power, who don't know they have power, have now again returned it back to the selected few, the people they say they selected. Democracy was a corporate system of government. All our practicing, we did not evolve. We don't know what works for us. We just copied something that looked good on people and applied. Now that we've applied something we don't understand, we've now edited it to our own taste to suit our corrupt system. So people are coming every year to say, get your permanent voter's card, as if to say votes count. Every 4 years, this happens. And when it happens, you get your permanent voter's card, you cast votes, and you see results. Sometimes people don't agree with what they see. And they come back the next year and do the same thing. So I think it's high time people take the pressure off the center and not saying take laws into your hands. I'm saying we should be responsible. These people who are bandits live in houses amongst regular people. Sometimes regular people know those people and they let them leave every morning to go and do those things and come back. So where I stay, I may not have noticed somebody who is suspicious for such activity. But wherever those people are, they live with other people that are not bandits. And some of those other people even have information on them. When somebody mentions they know somebody who does things like that, the usual suggestion is to go and report it to police. But you're dealing with a system where you're not sure if there is a connection with the law enforcement and what's going on. You're not sure. And these people are kidnapping people and taking millions. I used to say it. Anybody who has money has power. So if you have somebody who is supposedly an armed bandit who can access 70 million, 100 million, 50 million, that person has some power with them. You are not going to be, don't feel like this is just, even though they look like they are hungry and men, you can just pick up. These people they have money behind them. And where cash is, no one follow. Sometimes men follow that direction. Sometimes now there's support, now there is, so it's not as simple as pick this voice up. But to simplify it, we are more in number than politicians. We are more in number than law enforcement. We are more in number than bandits. But we have decided to sit in our houses and point fingers to them. Interpretation of what I'm saying will now be go and protest. If you protesting means you're still pointing to you're trying to make the leader take responsibility as well. That's not what we're talking about. We are saying everybody refuse that your community will be penetrated again. We want the immediate refuse that your immediate community will be penetrated. How would you do that? Who is your neighbor? What's your neighbor's name? Talk with your neighbor. Discuss with your neighbor. Find out who he is. He may be a kidnapper, you don't know. Find out who your neighbor is. Why do you live in a place you don't know your person on your right? You don't know the person on the left. The community you live in is not a community. People are living as individuals in a place that looks like a community. When you talk with your neighbor and you know your neighbor, and you people form something that looks like an alliance for what a community should be, what it does is, after a while, that thing forges into a system that secures itself by itself, or that expunges or purges away. So we find out somebody here does something like this by rumor. Even before we involve the police, we have weakened the person's ability to, because you're working as a community. There's power in the group. Of course, when there are people who in the group who they can take away, they can weaken. But when we keep practicing this thing, after a while, the country will look better than it is, because the people who created the problem have now come to the level that solve it. That's the way to solve it. You will keep hoping for one politician that will come from nowhere, one wonderful guy. You don't know the depth of mess we have. People are throwing. Just imagine trying to sort out, let's say, hygiene, for example. That's not hygiene. Let me say the look of the streets. Yeah, people don't drop things on the floor. You know how many people are eating things from these nylon bags every day? How many times have you watching this video dropped something on the floor? Was there somebody that tell you to pick it? That is how we create problems every single day in this country. And there's no supervision. How many supervisors can we have? The people are more in number. These problems can be solved from supervisors and leaders. It will be solved from the person who is about to drop that thing on the floor saying, I will not do this. So it is the people who created the problem that can solve it. If people come out en masse and clean the streets, that's the cleanest the streets will ever be. But whenever you allow the government to come and move with cars and make an attempt, when you finish, the place still looks like nothing has been done. When people come out and say today is clean up and everybody's in front of the house cleaning, come back and look and see. Take this how you take it. But take pressure off these politicians, you kill them. The best politician you think in your head. Somebody said the Adefe government is the best politician. Put that man in the center there. If he's an honorable man, he will resign. Because what he will see, amount of pressure he will face, you're going to have to give instructions. The governor will not move into the bushes to pick out the bandits. He will release our security operatives. But how neat do you think that system is? Let's say the police force, for example. How much can you trust that system? You're walking into a system that is already there. You're not the one who is setting the system up. This is a system that is currently there while what's going on is going on. The system was there before what's going on started. The system was there. Now you come in as a new man and you're giving instructions. Go and do this. How efficient do you think that system will be to follow your instruction? I don't want to say anything. Don't want to accuse anybody. But if you have a brain that something that is more better than simple, you see where I'm going, what I'm saying. So by the time a good man gives instructions like that, and the system, because of the decay in it, is not executing at that pace, it frustrates this person. So two things happen. Either this person decides to go out of the system, which is what honorable men do, or this person gives up and just sits there like another career politician, like we've always had. So let us stop putting pressure on one man to fix a problem that all of us do. Christ was killed and he came here to solve problems. No one man can fix Nigeria, whether they are having elections or not. People will have to get responsible and look out for themselves by themselves. Take this message anyhow you understand.